No, not on that though.
Hang on, 2 secs. Are we gonna...
Right, today we're getting out with Mark Brown and the guys from Todber Manor. We're out on Meerkat Charters out of Weymouth in Dorset. It's a short evening session, about 4 hours. Mark's been working closely with Ryan to set up these trips, and we get out. It costs about £30. 8 to 10 of us go out on the trip. We drift around Portland, drift around Weymouth using light rods. We use like a light pike rod, or you can even get your RF rods out, and we fish for the Pollock, we fish for bass. We're going to start off fishing for Wrasse, and then as the light starts to drop, we'll get around the corner, fish for bass, fish for Pollock. You know, you never know what's going to show up on these. We've had cod turn up on them, cuckoo, wrasse, mackerel, garfish, pouting. So the idea is just a bit of fun. So I thought I'd put this little video together to show you it's not all about big, heavy boat rods. You can use your normal spinning tackle, the tackle you use off the rocks. As long as you've got the right skipper that can put you in the right places, you're going to be fine. You're going to catch fish. You can fish light as you're used to doing. It's just a great sport. So enough of me already. Let's go on with the fishing.
Well, that bass on mackerel. Oh, and you did.
I thought I'd use a jigging rod. Just using the jigging rod for it.
Hello. There's a better one. Got a nail.
It'd be easier.
Lost it. Yeah, they're just taking in the sights, Bill. Yeah, they're liars. In the background. No. Right, so skinny that blue, you don't use that.
Yeah, Ash. Come on, son. There you go.
Okay, for the wrasse we're just using simple black minnow combo, bought off the shelf, 25 gram head, number 3, it's about 120mm long. This is the one I was actually using on the trip. It's a bit knackered now. I've glued it back together with some plastic glue, but if you wonder why these work so well, they fish weedless out of the pack. It's as simple as that really. They cast well, they swim, they hang. They just do the job, and yeah, there's many other ways of doing it. There's many other lures you could use, but this is just more effective for where we were fishing on the day. So try anything. You know, you don't have to spend £8 or whatever they are on one of these. You could, you know, these could be dead after one fish, but on that particular trip that you've seen on the video, this just worked well for us. One of the other guys was using a HTO lure, which had been discontinued, so I'm not going to show that one. But anything similar, if you can get this sort of profile, this is ideal for the smaller wrasse. And if, you know, the 5 or 6 pounders come along, then I can turn the nose a bit. So yeah, let's show you some fishing.
Ooh.
Okay, for wrasse there's 2 methods that I like to use. The first is a simple cast and retrieve. It's the same method that I use for the rocks. We get it out there, let the lure hit the bottom, lift it up and let it roll around the rocks, let it hang. You don't want to overwork it. The wrasse are pretty much unlike any other predator. They'll often inspect the lure and they can be looking at it at 20-30 seconds before they'll hit it. We've done a lot of work like fishing around the rocks under the tip, watching how the smaller wrasse inspect the lure, really sussing it out before they decide to hit it, and just upscaling that. Cast out, hop it back to the boat very slowly, just letting the current bring it back and forth around the rock. when you get back to the boat, just hold it under the tip, give it a few seconds, and you see here I'm just about to get hit. The lure's hardly moving at this point.
That works up in it.
Oh, hello there. Yeah.
Just grab the net, right. It's alright, it's not that big actually. It's alright.
Oh, yeah.
You alright?
Green, isn't it?
Chill, mate.
Hey, yeah, I'm It's handy.
Yeah, might as well. Good.
Not again.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Hang on.
Sweet, mate.
Alright.
Lovely, yeah.
So we looked at casting for wrasse, now we're going to look at fishing vertical for them. Less is more again in this instance. If you've got a boat that's rolling with the waves, and if the boat's moving 1.5 to 2 foot with each wave, if you hold your lure or hold your rod dead still, your lure's going to move 1.5 foot every single time the boat rolls. In that case, you know, if you add or impart any other action, you're going to be moving that lure 2, 3, 4 foot. Often that's too much, and that gets overlooked by a lot of boat anglers. What you can see here as we're drifting, we're just holding the rod just as still as we can. Give it the odd flick, just impart a bit of action just to attract the attention of the fish, but you don't need to overwork it.
Are we going to weigh that right? Hang on, just turn it so we can get the whole fish. Yeah. It's quality. We'll be able to work with that.
Okay, so the lure that we're using for the pollock and the bass on this trip, or that I'm using myself, is the West End Sandy Andy. You can buy them in a pre-rigged combo like this if you're not sure how to put the jigger on the body, or you can buy the heads and the body separate. I tend to do it this way, it just turns out more cost effective for me. That's the lure I'm using on the video. One thing I do like about these is the hook. They've got a very good hook, and after all the fish that I had, you know, the hook felt good as new, really. The sand eel body itself, probably one of the most realistic sand eels that I've seen in the UK. Even got the vent there on the bottom of it. Made a really nice soft plastic. I would advise you to carry a bit of super glue because they do get a bit torn, so you can sort of glue them up around the front, but they'll keep going. One of the things to do as well, if you're buying the heads and the body separate, is just a dab of super glue. I've not glued this one yet, it's one I've just bought from the shop. You see there, it will slide away, so, but if you just dab a glue up there, hold it to the head, you get a lot more use out of it. Another good feature of this lure over the likes of this Savage Gear sand eel is this small little tail. I'm just going to try and hold it still there, it just wants to keep wobbling. Doesn't hang as much as some of the other tails. You see a lot of the sand eels, they've got a squarer tail. like Savage Gear sand eel, tends to hang in a lot more in the water and you get more resistance. When you're fishing on the drop with lighter line, just tends to drag and it tends to hold higher up in the water, and if you want to get it down to the fish, they're not so effective, and this is where this westing seems to pay off. So yeah, that lure, simple as that really, nothing else fancy.
Feels like a bass.
No, black minnow.
Okay, on this trip, we were talking to the lads about the types of retrieve. Some of the guys hadn't done it before. What I was talking to them about is if you want to pick up a pollock, you want to just cast out and straight retrieve. Pollock are quite stupid fish. If you lose darting about all over the place, they often swipe at it and miss it. Pollock like a lot straight retrieve, and that's relevant whether you're wrecking, whether you're vertical over a wreck and you drop it down and then straight wind up, or whether you're casting for them. Straight retrieve's always better. For the bass, it's always prudent to cast and throw in a couple of twitches, a couple of darts, just like that fleeing action seems to trigger them. So if they're not taking on the drop, a couple of twitches up, as you can see here, is getting me hit. And it's as simple as that. 2 different retrieves will trigger 2 different fish. So what we're going to do here, we're going to make a cast. The lure's going to hit the water and going to give it about 2 seconds and then engage the bail on. Straight away I'm going to throw in a couple of twitches to mimic a fleeing fish and pick up any of the fish that are riding higher up in the water. What's important to remember at this stage is each turn of the handle he's bringing in roughly 1 metre of line. So I don't want to go reeling too quickly, otherwise I'm just going to bring it up and away from the fish and I'm going to miss all the action. You're going to give it a couple of pauses, just allowing the lure to fall. Bow your rod tip as you let the lure fall through the water. You want to be dropping on a tight line. It'll just give it a lot smoother fall and it'll allow you to pick up any bites that you get on the drop. Also doing this allows the lure to run at its true depth back to the boat. If you keep a high rod tip, you're going to be retrieving. A, you get a shorter drop, and B, the lure's just going to ride a lot higher in the water. And then most important thing, like any lure fishing, just keep reeling until you get to the boat, because you never know where the fish is going to hit you. In this case, Pollock shot up from underneath the boat and smacked the lure.
Same drink, you can see it the other day. At least the fair chuck can catch it. Bass are topping out,
Yeah,
bass are feeding, so that's massive. Boys, don't stand up the front. That's size you want. I was thinking shit ones to follow my line.
Would be over there. That dirty great mackerel.
It's bass.
Got one bit.
Mackerel.
I'll go on my rod.
Oh, you want to go on your rod? I see how it is. Yeah, of course you can.
I'd put one of those little things on there, like what Annie's got.
Oh, yeah.
Or you get them as mackerel with this. You want a little something, like a sand eel thing. You want to keep getting it to then.
Even a little.
Get them that side, no.
One of the things I want to point out here is Ryan picked up one of the ultralight rods that was on the rack. It was a rod of Danny Hill's that had got a little Eco Gear vibe bait on it, a small metal vibration lure. You cast it out and straight retrieve it. You can fish it on the drop, but mostly you just cast it out, rip it back to the boat, and just having that different presentation was winkling the mackerel out from the pollock and the bass. I think Danny did go on to have a pollock on it later on the night. I just wanted to point out how the three different methods has pulled three different species on the night.
Good eating. Ain't joking, want to see the hit I just had. These are eggs.
It's all three fish at the same time. That's brilliant. What fishing that is. I love that.
That's Pollock, give up. They're just like, it's the first little bit, like, yeah, I'm on.
See that hit I just had?
Oh no.
It's Billy, isn't it?
Get ready.
Oh, getting some bass in it.
Yeah, it's bass. Got a net or? You alright? Fish one at the back. That is proper fishing, isn't it? That is brilliant.
It's just good fun, isn't it? Yeah. See if we can get Ryan, give us some sort of lick down. This is small stuff.
Nice to see him.
Good,
Do you want the net? Sorry.
better than what Kel's
Alright, right, swing him in.
Hey.
Go on, Billy. Billy's called Billy.
on Bill. Oh, Bill. Billy Bass.
We got Bollocks. Ah, Pollock. I don't think it's so disappointing to see a Pollock.
You're making 4 in a row.
Oh, Ryan's on. Hey, yeah. Even.
You want mate?
mostly fat.
I'm mackerel fishing.
Poaching, I think.
Oh, band.
What are you doing?
Letting the mackerel
Using
go.
a little vibe, no wonder.
It's whatever I could get my hands on in the rod. I just picked up how to.
That's obviously how it is.
Oh, that's brilliant. Isn't it? You can't beat that for fishing.
Yeah, just come around here.
Right guys, well that was a successful trip. I enjoyed watching that, and I hope it's given you a bit of an insight into what sport can be had on the charter boats. One of the big things I wanted to get across on this is, look, we've been out with Ryan from Meerkat. Ryan's a great guy. Ryan's a young lad, very forward thinking. A lot of the skippers though that I've spoke to in Weymouth, they'd put this sort of trip on if more people had asked. You can always, if you've got a group of you, charter a whole boat and then speak to the skipper and say, look, we want to do some inshore fishing, we want to do some slow jig fishing for over the wrecks. You just need to talk to them. I think anything's possible, but the skippers aren't going to put the lure only trips on unless we talk to them and show that there's a bit of an interest. Incidentally, if you're further along the coast, if you're in Brighton, if you're up London way and you can get to Brighton, you've got Robin Howard on Biff 1 that does bass trips from Brighton Marina. Short 4-hour trips. I think he does 3 sessions a day when the fishing's good. You can get out and fish for bass on light lure. Further along the coast in Torquay, you've got Matt from Silver Halo Charters that's regularly doing inshore trips and offshore trips for pollock, bass, cod. There's all sorts thrown up on that. And then we got Weymouth, which is my home port. You know, I'd love to get a trip and eat like once a week if we could. I'm sure long term the demand's going to be there, but until we all start talking about it and showing how accessible it is and how fun it is, you know, we never know the possibility. And then as you come around to winter, you know, you might want to get out on the wrecks, and then you can take heavier spinning gear, you can take your slow jig rods. Maybe that's another story for another day. Right guys, I'm going to get on. I've got quite a bit of footage stacked up, so hopefully share some more videos over the next coming months, just to give you an idea of what fishing we've got around the Safe Coast at the moment. Hopefully it'll inspire you to get out there and just enjoy it, do something different, you know. It doesn't have to be lugging big heavy gear around to see fish. Light rod, a couple of lures, and anything's possible. Thanks for watching, subscribe and just stay tuned. Keep in touch.